we both have to act like we've not been chatting for the last half an hour. Do you want to just introduce yourself?
Do you look at the camera?
If you want to, you can look at me.
I think I will just look at you actually.
Yeah.
So I'm Simran Kaur, and I'm a fashion photographer and creative director, currently based in London, but also Paris.
Amazing. And we know each other because we've like on Instagram.
Yeah.
We get to see each other, as a lot of people do in 2023, and I'm a big fan of your work. And most importantly your work ethic as well, because you're always posting all the time. How do you do that? How do you keep that up?
I think you need to find a balance. Like, we all have our own way to do it. My way to do it is I usually post like my post in my feeds at the end of the day, because that's when I go home, I chill, and then after eating my dinner I might watch something, then I post something. In terms of my stories, I just do them naturally. I don't just post them like, oh, I need to plan it in this way. No, I just do it and I just keep them posting them. It's like a little update of what is going on, like showing sneak peeks, keeping people updated. Or, this shoot is coming up, this one is coming up. Also showcasing the client, and clients like, oh my God, I'm so excited and all that. So it just brings up that kind of mood that I want. And I also love keeping it comical in a way. So I always write these little phases near the stories I post and be like, oh, this and that. I think yesterday I posted this story where I distorted the foot of the model, so it kind of looks broken. I wrote, oh, my foot hurts and all that. So I just do those kind of little comical things, even though they kind of look really silly, but that's me, I'm not going to change that for sure. So.
Yeah, of course. And so you post at the end of the day rather than throughout the day, which is great. And I think it's a lesson for a lot of people, is that you can bank content and you can post it at a later date. You don't have to post everything at the same time.
Yeah, you can draft it. I don't draft it because I feel like drafting it is too much of a planning for me. I love being natural with it, like even today. So I'm quite like, I just go for it. I'm not gonna build a persona for it. This is me and you're gonna see me and that's it.
You're very natural.
Yeah, because I saw and I've met many people that they have a different persona when you meet them, and then they have a different persona outside there, like with other people, and tendency makes me feel really uncomfortable. That doesn't make me want to work with them. Actually, it makes me want to like push them away from me, or like push them away even from my friends, because I'm like, I might tell my friends and be like, oh, actually I don't know how to feel about this person, and then my friend will be like, oh, actually, I feel the same. Yeah. And when actually, sometimes you don't know how to talk about it with your friends because it's a bit awkward, I think.
Yeah.
Because you'll be like, oh yeah, you met them once, they might be nice, but then you see them acting in another certain way with another person, or like, which is fine if they're best friends, but then it's like, you're like, even
guessing.
It's like you're not sure how to feel,
Unfortunately, the industry is renowned for characters. I think a lot of people put on a character.
I agree.
And it's not always a positive thing either.
I do agree. I think for me, the reason why I started just being myself is like just building a character is because I go raving a lot. I love raving. I love like being around music, as I believe there is no like fashion without music, and there is no music without fashion. They're just too intricate into each other. Think about Burj, or like as well Deftones, like Massive Attack. Like I would go like into like deeper to the end of like Tupac, or even like anyone nowadays is working, like you work in music but you also work in fashion. I'm a fashion photographer and creative director, but also do music videography and also create like album covers for musicians and such, and I'm like,
how important do you think it is to be multifaceted then? We talked about it earlier, DJing, music and fashion. Do you think you have to be, or do you think you should just focus on one area of stylist and just do that, or do you think it's best to do photography, spread your art?
So before I told people that I was a fashion photographer and creative director, I actually used to tell myself that I was like a fashion photographer and artist.
Okay.
I'm still an artist because most of my work is inspired tendency by art, and anyway fashion is part of art, as music is it. So pretty much, I used to do collages, illustrations, animations, and that was during COVID, but that helped me so much to understand what I really want to do and why. So my work then she talks about mental health and how I would like pretty much to people to understand more like emotions and feelings, not only about themselves but also others, and how to empathize with them. But yeah, I think you should definitely not like just focus on one part of this creative industry. And I think one of the books I've been reading, I just started recently, there was this quote that said, it's not really a quote but like just a phrase from someone. It said that, you know, it doesn't matter where you really work in this industry, somehow you will end up working in all these branches somehow. Like tomorrow you might see me working, I don't know, as a stylist for a minute for someone. It happens, you know. It's not something that it just doesn't happen. No, like it's gonna happen for sure. Like today I'm doing this, tomorrow I'm gonna be the creative director, the next day I'm going to be the backstage photographer. I'm not like focusing on one side of this industry. It's multiple part of them. Of course, I label myself as a creative director and fashion photographer, but that's because I see myself going there. But that doesn't mean I'm not branching out. I branch out quite often. I'm also planning to open my own magazine. I'm also planning to do this and that. It's gonna take time, but like we're getting there. You know, it's all about like building these connections. You know, building these friendships as well. Networking for sure. Going to raves for me, at least for me, you know, I love going. I feel like networking is good. I love going to pop-up stores and stuff, or like magazines event. I love it, but raving has been such a huge thing for me. Inspiration. I gather lots of inspiration by music for my own photography style. And by photography style, I'm talking about like surrealism and abstract elements, but I'm also talking about lighting. And the best way to get inspiration for lighting, I think, is just raving. Like looking at all this like lighting setup, or like even talking with these light technicians that I usually like get. It's incredible like how they think about or what type of lighting they're gonna put for DJ or for this DJ or like this performance, and then you get to like understand, oh my god, there's actually like a huge meaning behind each of this setup, and you wouldn't guess it. You know, sometimes you just go raving and you'll be like, yeah, it's fun and all that.
It's interesting,
but for me it's like I go raving, but at the same time I take some event photography, or in my case I started taking pictures of just people that I meet, and then I post them because I just like doing that. And then in that way I also meet people. Is like this camera between me and this person is the connection I needed in order to build this relationship, you know. It's just like my little point and shoot, you know, just bring it with you. It's always in my pocket, somewhere in my bag, you know, it just take it out.
Then you build that relationship with them when you can begin to
network. It breaks the ice, definitely. Sometimes some people might not be comfortable with it, but when you start like noticing some stuff that you might like about them, and for me it's that, well, I met so many people at raves that were actually archival things, like even such like old brands that people don't talk about, or this old brand doesn't do. For example, you know, you see this necklace is from Fossil. They used to do like necklaces. I'm not sure if they still do it because I don't follow the brand that much, but I know they do watches nowadays. But they used to do necklaces, so it's kind of like an archival piece from like the 2000s. Amazing boxes, amazing artworks. They don't do it anymore because money and, you know, the different brand and different concept, different creative director and all that. But pretty much what I'm saying is that I met so many people that actually know this brand did this and that, but are raves rather than meeting them at like magazines, events and such. I love going to these events like of magazines, but I can't stay more than 3 hours. I get extremely like bored, and then on top of that, I feel like sometimes I just don't get to meet nice people, like real people that actually in the industry working really hard, and they're just being their true selves in order to work in this industry, instead of like putting up a persona. You know, like a persona might help you for a bit, but then you're tendency gonna have issues where you question yourself who you actually are. And I'm like, I don't want to have that issue. Wake up one day, I'm like, who am I and all that, you know, like have this crisis.
It's funny, in the last episode we said that actually the best person you can be is yourself, because only you can do you so well.
Agree.
If you're imitating something else, you're always going to be second best, at best.
So, for example, I think one of the funniest examples is just this interview, because I'm like, what if I just came with a totally different face, like wait, I'm gonna be serious person, like, change my tone, like, or something like that, you know, like, but I'm like, I can't do that. That's not me, you know. I'm gonna come to this interview, bring my energy, bring my like joy, whatever, you know, my love for people, my love for food in this case, because we're in this lovely restaurant.
It was nice. It was really good food.
Honestly, it's really nice. It's just like, you know, I get so inspired by, I get inspired from these people around me. And the more I'm around with these genuine people that actually, they know what is life, they know what's going on around us, and they understand that it's not just about fashion and music, but it's also everything else that is around you. That's the true core of my own persona. They're built like by being this amazing people.
It's a living reference piece, and it's constantly moving.
Yeah,
and I think that's brilliant.
I'm in such a like good place. I have a rave after this. I'm happy. I'm ready to go, and that's why I love spring and summers, because I always look forward to these raves, to these like events. I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to do that. I'm gonna meet so many amazing people. I'm gonna see my friends again, because of course, you know how I say in the creative industry, everyone is busy, and the only point when I get to meet these people is literally raving. You just have fun. You have your drinks. You just talk with each other. And I think there's also a misconception about raving, because people think that you need to be drunk to rave. Well, actually, it's not really true. I mean, I'm never drunk when I rave. None of my friends is. Some of them, they don't even drink or smoke or any of that. And to be honest, I feel unsafe in clubbing rather than raving. And raves actually makes me feel safer. I'm also part of the LGBTQ plus community. I mean, I'm bisexual. I go by they, them as well, just to let you know. And I don't feel safe clubbing. It's such an awkward place, and sometimes some of these people are such like, I don't know. I just don't like them. While raving made me feel like at home. You know?
What do you think the difference is then between clubbing and raving? Is it the community, is it the people, or is it the atmosphere, the music?
Oh, I think it's a bunch of like all that. Definitely. The music, I mean, in raves, usually you have like new DJs coming up. Well, not every time, but yes, and they always bring some interesting music, and it's always so experimental, and I just love it. Like, I'm so glad that I started raving. Like, I went into raving ever since probably I was like, now I'm 21, but I started I think around 19. From what I remember, but ever since I never stopped going to these raves, and I built so many amazing relationships with these amazing people. I'm friends with them. I don't work with all of them, of course, but some of these people are just friends that I love hanging out with, because they give me ideas. It helps me to progress my fashion photography, my creative direction. It opens this mind that I don't want to keep into a bubble. And I think about talking bubbles, people sometimes they think that I went to UEL, CSM, things like that, but I just studied photography, like simple as that, photography at the University of East London, the close campus, you know. And the reason why I did choose to do that is because I wanted to keep my mind open. I wanted to be around people. I didn't want to be around fashionable people.
Absolutely. I think sometimes when you limit your reference and you only have a singular reference like fashion photography, although you pull from lots of different references, you are limited to just that. In a way. I
don't like being in the bubbles. I love popping the bubbles. I love being in the dangers. Put me in the danger, I will be fine with it. Like, it doesn't matter how much I'm gonna struggle in it, but I'm sure I'm gonna come out of it with lots of ideas and lots of new people I'm gonna work with. And honestly, I've never been scared to put myself forward, because I'm like, you know, either you do it, and if you don't do it, you're gonna regret it. You're not gonna sleep well at night.
So how do you define? You do a lot of projects. How do you define a project from like paid and exposure? And exposure, I think a lot of people get drawn into just doing anything and everything. How do you define what to do and what not to do? And what advice would you give to somebody in terms of looking at those opportunities?
So I have to be honest. Just last year, guys, like a few months ago, literally, I used to say yes to everything, let's be honest there. But ever since I met my friend stylist around last year, I think around November, we've been doing many projects together now. I've been more selective. Reasons is because when you meet new people, there's some people that might change your perspective and how you think and how you do things. And she was like, Simran, I looked at you do such like amazing projects, but then she gave me a feedback that really touched me, but like it just changed my chemistry in my mind, you know. I was like, oh my god, it's true actually. So she was like, I think you should start being more selective with things. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you're doing so many things with different people, which is nice, but I think some of them, you don't really like them, do you? And I'm like, you know, I never thought about that. It's so funny. I never thought about do I actually like it or not. And I think the reason is because sometimes you need to sit down and think. I didn't get a chance to sit down and think.
Think about it. You just took it and said yes.
Yes.
It's great in a way, and I recommend that to a lot of people to just run with it and go for it, see what happens.
But there's a certain point when you're gonna start being selective. And my point started this January. But this January I was like, I'm gonna start saying no and yes to things. I mean, as a full-time freelancer, I started. I mean, it was like second year of uni, but I kind of say when I was like my last year of uni, like last year-ish, kind of. It's like 2 years, I would say. Okay. And before that, I was just doing it as a little hobby. So
yeah, that's really good.
I was not even like sure I would be able to do it, to be honest. But today I'm here, so I'm here.
Really good.
So it's good. It's good. I'm quite glad. Like all these people that I met, they helped me. Even though some of these people, I mean, they're not in my life. It's not like they're not dead. Don't worry. But like, what I'm talking about is pretty much. I don't work with them anymore, or like. They just decide to do other things that I'm not interested in. But we're still friends. We know each other. We help each other somehow. We'd be like, okay, cool, I can help you with this and this and that. But you're not gonna see me working with them because I just don't like maybe the way they work. Maybe what they try to showcase is not what I want to showcase. It's not something where I want to progress. I don't see myself in it, and that's fine. You don't have to say yes just because it's your friend, because that's what happened to me last year. It's really important to set a boundary out there. You can't just be like yes, yes, yes. It's really strong to say I know. I know is also to respect yourself. Like you tendency respect as well your mental health and your physical health, because you need to stay at home. You can't always work. you need to be at home. You need to have like as a photographer I have to do emails every morning. There's something to do as emails. There are days where I wish I could be at home this whole day, but I know I can't, and therefore I just bring my laptop and then in between breaks I just try to do these little things. But when I am at home, that is the best day ever, because I do my emails, I wake up at 9, I do my emails, then I have my breakfast, I have a nice walk, I go touch some grass, as people say. I just go out, and then I come back from lunch, I eat, and then I start working on my stuff, and I take my time. Then maybe I watch a movie at night, and that's the day. Just sleep. And that's such a relaxing.
You need those days
yes.
in between, right?
As a photographer, yes. I don't know as a stylist. I mean, maybe yes. I know that like my stylist friend. Oh my God, bless you, all of you. Like, if you're a stylist, I love you so much from my heart. Like, so much. Like, I hope you're doing well, because styling is such a hard job. I saw my friend like literally not breaking down, but kind of like behind closed doors, not on set. Oh my God, the amount of time like you have issues either with like your assistant or some other people's in the set, but you can't talk about it, and you try to confront them, but these people don't try to understand it. And on the top of that, some of these people they will not give you like a budget to cover the travel expenses. Like, what if you like working with a magazine and you try to explain to them, okay, so you want this Gucci outfit, you want me to go to, like, example, my friend lives North London. The Gucci thing, I don't know, she needs to pick it up outside London. Someone needs to cover the travel expenses, right? So she needs to ask that to the magazine. Sometimes these magazines just say no. They'll be like, oh yeah, we don't have money, or like we don't have enough budget. And I'm like, I'm sure you do. You just don't. The thing is that people, I saw so many people just holding on someone that is already out there,
absolutely.
instead of supporting the others that are trying to be out there when they have such a huge, amazing skill. I saw so many stylists that are so good, and they're stuck in this position because they don't know what to do. They're just like, now I'm a photographer, I'm talking about stylists because that's what I saw in my own eyes. I work closely with these people. I get these pull letters. Not because I want to get published. No, don't get me wrong. Like, I love being published. Don't get me wrong. I love doing that. But oh my God, like, I value just doing the project itself. Doing it, and coming in reality.
You've touched on something really important there. Is about self-worth, and a lot of stylists, I've come across them. I did a styling course at UAL. Is we get caught up in exposure, and we get caught up in working with people that we think are going to really help us, but they're just exploiting us.
True,
it's very true in the creative world.
I agree, because I've been doing this for 2 years, but these 2 years were enough to understand who was using me and who was actually there for me and not just working with it for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for all of these people that I have in my life, because these are the people that I want to keep close to me.
Yeah. Do you think the creative industry is made for a fragile person, or do you think they need to be quite thick-skinned?
You need to be strong, I think, but it's okay to be fragile, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's fine. Be fragile as you want,
yeah.
but be careful as well. If you're like, I'm a fragile person, I agree on that.
I'm sensitive too.
Yeah, I'm extremely sensitive, but I learned to like, you know, it's okay sometimes to show it on set, but make sure maybe those are the people you know.
Yeah.
And not like random people that you just don't know, because you don't know what they might say about you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that just because I know people gossip.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that because that's the truth, you know.
Yeah,
like
that's the industry.
your friends will be like okay with it, like people you already worked with it, because they're gonna be like, I already know this person, so it's okay if they say do that and this.
Yeah.
Of course, if you do something wrong, you know, that's another story. But if you're like fragile, you'll be a bit more like emotional, like a little tear drops off. That's fine, you know. Like, but if you do it, imagine.
It's important to maintain that level of professionalism.
Yeah. So if you do it in front of like a magazine thing, try not. If you need to do it, the toilet, please. The toilet is the best place, because I understand. Most of my projects, and now I'm gonna go into it, are inspired by all these emotions I felt all these years. Being trapped into myself, not understanding what I want to do, being always in this sense of confusion, being always sad, having depression, having people that don't really respect you, people that talk behind you. All these emotions that come up into anger, sadness, all these emotions, but then I have also this nice contrasting emotion like happiness and joyful. All these emotions, it's just emotions in general just inspires me. All these feelings and emotions are just what I want to show to people. Like just the reality of fact, instead of showcasing to you the saturation of social media. I'm not here to aesthetically please your little eye or like aesthetically please your style. I'm not here to like make you look fashionable and such. I'm here to tell a story. Fashion is just not like doing campaigns, editorials and all that. Fashion is pure art. Fashion is part of artistic mindsets. Fashion is just outside that. Like even what you wear usually, if it's like little cheap clothes, that is still fashion. Depends on how you style it, depends on what is the meaning behind it. And oh my God, thank God that I finally start understanding that meanings and symbolism are so important. And I put them, and I unconsciously did put them so many times into my shoots. But now finally I'm able to talk about them. It just opened my mind into like other ways. And I started to understand how I can like extend, sorry, the mosquitoes. How I can like understand, how can like develop this fashion editorials into something more broad. Like what if I want to put it into a gallery? What if I want to, what I'm doing now is something coming up, but now I'm printing out this poster saying looking back to look forward, which connects to this interview now, but it's funny, right? It's a project called Looking Back. I did it like a few months ago with some people and a model. The model contacted me personally, actually. It's funny because she saw my work, and she also contacted my friend stylist because she saw as well and all that, but we worked on different projects. I worked on mine, she worked on hers, just because she was doing the creative direction of her and I was doing mine. And for me, I was like, you know, I would love to do this shoot talking about how we look back in order to go forward. And I was just going to keep it as a little test shoot. But from moving there, I was like, I just don't like it, the way I've been doing things. Why do I need to wait for a magazine to publish this?
Of course.
Some of these magazines are amazing, don't get me wrong. You're doing amazing out there, guys. Thank you so much for the hard work. But like, unfortunately, I get it that sometimes there is not enough pages for all of us. There is not enough money. We already know there is a social crisis going on. You can also understand it by looking at Fashion Week nowadays. So I get it in a way, and I be patient with it. So I try my own creative way to find a way to do it. So I started printing out this poster saying "Looking back to look forward" with my Instagram tagged on it. Now the ink is finishing in my printer, but I'm still using it. The reason is because it just works with the concept.
Okay.
So you have the ink, and then it kind of runs out,
Oh, nice.
and at the end you just have a blank page saying "Looking back, look to look forward," with no pictures, just an Instagram tag on it.
Amazing.
That's it. And I'm gonna start putting them around in London in a few weeks, hopefully, with the help of some people, because they're quite a lot. But little posters, like little squares, because I really hate printing things in big.
Yeah, of course.
I'm really an intimate person,
Yeah, small.
super intimate person. Like I just did it's still up, but at the Brick Lane Gallery I exhibit this project called My Environment, which talks about it's pretty much about capturing people in their own house.
Yeah, okay.
With what they usually wear and what they usually do.
Ah, interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the natural state behind social media, and it's pretty much a fashion documentary, but bring it to art. So it's a mixture of all that, because that's me, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not just a fashion photographer and creative director doing my things. I'm also an artist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
And it's who you are behind those closed doors, and a bit like the excerpt that I just showed you a minute ago with you're an artist, it's a way of living.
Yeah.
It's not just,
Definitely,
not
like
just a persona that you've got.
This is not my job. This is my life. I've been living in it, you know. I do this every day. I have things to do every day, and I take my time to do them. And thank God I take my time now, because rushing is not good, honestly. But yeah, this project is still ongoing. I've been doing it for a few months now. It's gonna be 1 year soon, which is amazing. It's still up until the 7th of May, and I'm gonna take the work down. But it was amazing. It's going well. People are really interested in it. And ideally, what I'm trying to do with it is pretty much to showcase to people that we are people. You know, I'm a person. I'm not like a robot. We're people. You know, even if you work in fashion, I know it's hard. But try to be kind to yourself. I know it's gonna be hard, but like try to understand. Oh, you know, I need to rest. Do it. I need to eat. Do it, please. Like honestly, the amount of time I was like at home, and I have food next to me. Then maybe my parents. Oh my God! Thank God I live with my parents yet. Thank God. That's it. I'm 21. I live with my parents and my little brother. Amazing, because those are my support for sure.
Yeah, sure.
100%. If something happens on set and I come home and I'm not looking happy, my dad already knows what to do. Like that's what you need, you know. Like, but then it's like, when I'm gonna start living alone, that's gonna be hard, you know.
Yeah, difficult.
It's gonna be hard, and I'm not ready for it. As I said, I'm ready to be in the danger. However hard is it, I'm gonna make it for sure.
Well done.
Yes,
That's
definitely.
good.
That is the motto, you know.
I think that's a good place to leave it there. That's
Yeah.
really good. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Do you want to let people know what your at is on Instagram? And then
Oh yeah, mine is Simran, then _K_01, and that's it.